Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Develop the Ultimate Golf Game. I'm your coach, Nathan Lenhart, and today we're here at the beautiful Savage Creek Golf Course in Richmond, BC. We're gonna take everything we've been talking about so far onto the course to help you score better. So let's get into that right now. All right, so here we are on the fourth hole, par 3. I got about 190 yards to the pin. Pin's roughly in the center of the green. I got wind going left to right. Looking at this, the pin's closer to the bunker on the right. The bunker on the right's a little closer to the edge of the green, so missing left would be a little bit more favorable. I play a fade, that's my comfort shot, and the wind's going that way. And knowing how long of a shot, this ball's gonna be in the air a long time. That wind is going to be affecting this ball a lot. So I'm gonna be aiming towards kind of left edge of the green. And if I hit this ball straight, I'm fine. I don't even mind missing the green a bit left. That's pretty easy chip from that spot. But I don't really wanna be messing around with that right side. So gonna be looking towards that left side of that green and just commit to my fade. Hit it not too bad. It's kind of fading towards the center of the green. Yeah, just on the front edge. All right, so here's a great example of a shot I see a lot of amateur golfers struggling with. Shots that are going up ridges, up hills. A lot of times I see players just using too much loft. Okay, grabbing their 60 or whatnot and just trying to hit it harder. But the problem is when we hit those type of wedges harder, it gets more backspin. So something I learned very early on in my professional career was I love to use 60 everywhere. But I found that a lot of these pins were kind of just on top of ridges, and I was having a tough time getting that ball to skid and roll up that face of that hill. So I learned quickly that I need to get this ball rolling more. So now on a shot like this, taking more of a gap wedge, or for more regular golfers, a pitching wedge, 9-iron even, right? Getting kind of more of a flattish swing as opposed to kind of hitting down, and just letting that ball kind of climb that slope there. At least that way I ride up that hill. It gives me a chance to be saving my par, not leaving it on that hill and potentially coming right back down. All right, so I got about 8 feet downhill, lots of slope here. So the way I'm gonna kind of go through this through my routine, regardless of where I am here, my routine of checking this out, typically I'm gonna start behind the ball. And the way I start is I don't start by looking at the ball in the hole. I kind of already have a sense of this putt is going right to left. So I'm gonna kind of angle myself here to a spot where I think roughly I might be putting towards. Okay, and this is a guesstimate, right? And so I'm kind of getting a sense as I'm putting out in this direction, what is this slope kind of doing? For myself, I like to feel it with my feet. So that's where I know that this is going right to left, a decent amount, but I'm gonna come and get a sense for myself here. And as I'm doing this, I'm kind of thinking, okay, which way would this ball kind of enter the hole? And as I'm kind of feeling my pressure moving towards my toes here, I feel like this ball might want to be entering in this side right here, the very top side there. So that means that to do that, I might be aiming somewhere out in here, okay? Thinking that, okay, my ball's almost going to be going uphill a bit here, and then it's going to be starting to take this slope downhill to the left. So I'm going to be saying that I'm going to be aiming somewhere up in this area. Again, for an 8-foot putt to have 3 feet of break, it's not that simple, but we're gonna give it a chance. And if it doesn't go in, I just wanna make sure I got the speed to make my next one without much trouble. Oh, got lucky sometimes. All right, so here we are. We got about 140 yards. This is a really good hole to kind of talk about proper course management. You can see the pin is directly over the center of that bunker on the right, okay? And right of this green, I know there's a bit of a slope. If you hit that, there's not much rough. It's gonna kind of slope down into the water. So for me, again, I'm playing a fade and I have the wind kind of moving that way, which sounds great, which it is, if I aim properly. Okay, if I go and think about taking it right at this flag and hit my shot with this wind, I'm in the water. So I'm gonna be looking definitely center of the green, okay, trying to hit a bit of a fade, hoping that wind kind of pushes it over a bit for me, okay, helping my ball flight. And if I'm hitting a draw, again, I don't need to go pin hunting on this, because if I just push that draw a little bit and miss it right, it's just not worth it. I'd rather kind of start that draw left edge of that bunker, draw it into the wind and kind of hold it there. Ending up just left of the flag would be a great spot to be. So kind of aiming center of the green, setting up for my fade, and then just trust it. Well, I started it there, it's kind of moving towards the pin. Just over the hill. And it looks like it could be a good shot. All right, so hit a pretty good shot here at the hole, just a little bit under the hole. So right here, I kind of see that slope going up, so I know I'm a little bit uphill. Looks to me like this side's a bit higher than this side, so gonna go and kind of do my feel here with my feet just to get a sense if I have the sensation like I want to rock towards my toes or my heels. And I do feel just a tiny bit of sense there of moving towards the toes. So I'm pretty confident this thing's gonna be turning right to left. Now, since it's uphill and I need to hit it harder, the ball's not gonna break as much as if it was downhill and I was hitting it softer. Since I'm hitting it with some speed, it's not gonna break as much. So I'm gonna go probably play this about a ball outside the hole with some decent pace. Nice. All right, so here we got a really short par 3. I only have about 80 yards. Up a decent amount. You'll be able to tell from video, you can't really see the hole. We kind of get cut off about a quarter of the flag there. So I know that this is a front pin. So regardless of how short this is, I know it's a front pin. So if I haven't even seen this green before, I know that I got some room behind it. The thing I don't want to do is kind of leave this one short and suck it back, especially with a wedge, kind of suck it back off the front. I'm going to try to take it a little long and maybe get a little spin there. So right now for myself, 80 yards, I got a 54-degree sand wedge. Just going to be playing kind of like a 3/4 swing and allowing that ball to kind of hop and spin from there, okay? I hit it okay, just a little right of it. From here, it looks like it's all right. All right, so I got about 15, 20 feet here. What I wanted to show here is how we can use the edge of the greens to help read our putts better. So right now, whenever we're by an edge of the green that's kind of slopes down and off the green to a lower spot, I want to go back here and get as low as possible to the level, surface level of the green. Because now my eyes are so much lower to the ground that I have such a better vantage point of the terrain. Right? Versus if I was standing up here by the ball and I can only get my eyes so low, right? So just whenever we're by the edge of a green, use that slope, get below the level, and then we'll be able to get our eye line more closely down to the ground so that we can see that terrain a lot easier. All right, so I got a 90-yard shot here. I thought this would be a good one to show just because I'm not sure if camera really picks it up, but on the right side of this pin here, there's a real steep slope, okay? And then towards the left side of the green, it's not so much. So there's a couple things here that I want to say. One, I'm not looking at hitting a club like a lob wedge here that's just going to have a ton of spin that might just suck back down that hill, okay? I'm going to be hitting a 3/4 sand wedge, one that I'm trying to fly on top, get a bounce, and spin and stop. But I'm also going to try to error a little left, just in case I do get a bunch of spin or I come up a bit short, that I'm not coming down a massive slope. And then my putt after that isn't going to be so terrible. But if I miss this kind of short right, which a lot of people do, that's going to be a real tough 2-putt. And again, just thinking that way and erroring a little left could save you a shot in just by thinking that way. Doesn't even have to be hitting a great shot to save this, to save a shot. So I'm going to go kind of at it just a little left, 3/4 sand wedge here. All right, landed on top, looked like it skipped and kind of spun. So hit a good one, we'll go try to make that putt. All right, so I got us here in a good spot. We got about 50 feet and we got a real steep incline right here in the beginning. So what I really want to talk about here for speed control on a long putt is the backswing. Far too often I see players taking really short backswings, but then going and trying to hit it from there. I want you to think of rolling this thing. Lengthen that backswing so that the downswing and follow through can be a similar length. Okay, so we can smoothen it out. Think about rolling it, not hitting it. All right, so I'm gonna be aiming a bit right. Looks like this thing's turning right to left. And then from there, on a length like this, I really want to be reactionary, meaning I'm going to look at that target, come back and hit. Really give it a good hammering to get there. Okay, just a few feet by and just a little left, so we'll go knock that one in. Okay, so here we have about a 270-yard hole. So really short, reachable, but it's kind of surrounded by water that you can't really see off the tee. Both sides, on the right side of the bunker on the right and the left side of the bunker on the left, there's water. So I'm not gonna be taking this one on here. I'm gonna be kind of laying up in front just because I like chipping and I like putting, so kind of playing to my strengths of hitting it towards the right edge of this green. And right now I got a 4-iron, so I'm gonna be probably hitting this thing about 210, and I might have about 50 to 60 yards to that pin. All right, so again, most people are gonna take driver, that's fine, you wanna knock it on, but if you're looking to score better, right, hitting an iron to a spot here that gives me a little pitch and run on this drivable hole, I feel like I'm gonna make birdies more often. I might not make eagle as often there, but I'm not gonna make hardly any bogeys from that position. Kind of right at that bunker, just a tiny bit right of where I wanted, but it's still in the fairway. I have a little chip. Okay, so after that 4-iron off the tee, I got about 55 yards to this back pin. Pin's kind of up on top of a ridge, so, and it's downwind. So I'm not gonna be able to fly something on top and have it spin fast enough where it's at with this downwind. So I'm gonna take a gap wedge, I'm gonna land it just a little bit on the green and kind of have it skipping up that hill. Try to ride and roll up that hill as best as I can. Use this wind to my advantage so that it doesn't just spin and stop on the hill. So my focus is just trying to make sure I get up on top. That looks like it ended up pretty good. So kind of like ride up that hill. Again, we don't have to, just because you know how far to hit a 50-yard lob wedge or something like that, we don't have to hit that. Just play around with different clubs, right? I don't practice a 50-yard gap wedge very often, but it's just a little bigger chip shot. Trust it, kind of see it, and you never know what might happen. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me this season on Develop the Ultimate Golf Game. It's been a blast learning and creating content about how to play the best golf we can. We're all at different levels. We all have different shots that we need to learn and improve upon. So thanks again for joining me, and I look forward to helping you out in the future.